Move on then to Senator Tom Clonan.
Good afternoon. I'm trying to keep track of the day. Yeah. It is afternoon. Yeah. Thanks very much. That was really interesting, and there were some great points made by colleagues. Just to reference back to Senator Ruane's observations about teaching, I went to school in Finglas, and none of the teachers, I can't recall any of the teachers being from Finglas, and my parents didn't hit me, but some of my teachers did, which was extraordinary. And I was explaining this to my 18-year-old daughter, and she said, that's criminal. And when I look back on it, it kind of was kind of a criminal enterprise. So I know that teaching has moved on. And when I was 20, I qualified as a primary school teacher myself. And I did interviews all over Dublin in 1987. And I remember one of the chairpersons of a board of management, a priest, said to me that he had his doubts about me because he said, "You have one foot in primary school teaching," he said, "but your other foot," he said, "is in Finglas." So there was even an inbuilt sort of scepticism. But I do know in speaking to what Lynn said that, because I've just come from Technological University Dublin, and there's a School of Social Care there, we have, I'm the Trinity, on the Trinity panel. I know that in the School of Social Work and in Trinity, that the students there are very diverse. So there is that pipeline. I mean, here's me telling you, you know this more than I do. So I think, there's grounds for optimism there. But my questions really, look, listening to you, this is an area that I'm not really au fait with or that familiar with. But it reminds me again of the kind of the disability space, which I am very, very familiar with. And so that churn that you describe of social workers in Tussla and elsewhere, so this is my first question. Is that for the same reasons that the HSE can't keep speech and language therapists, occupational therapists, physios, because of the very difficult working conditions vis-a-vis very small resource, huge demand? I imagine it's probably the same for social workers in Tussla and elsewhere. The second question, just leading into the next question, I mean, the harm that we do to children, and I know that your service is trauma informed, and congratulations on the rollout. But many of the parents whose children have gone into care have been, traumatised and harmed themselves. I mean, this Christmas we have 3,500 children homeless. I mean, the state and its institutions have a very poor record in terms of how they treat children. And I think that the parents whose children are, taken from them, put into care, are a symptom of that overall system we have in Ireland, which is we really do fail in our duty of care to children and to people with disabilities. Anybody who's vulnerable in this state, it's a cold house for people who are vulnerable. Whether you're elderly on a trolley, whether you're homeless, whether you're a child, it's really tough. So the service that you're going to provide, or that you're rolling out, is that are you aware, or do you know in other jurisdictions, are these kind of services provided by charities, or are they provided by the state themselves? And is there a country, either in the European Union or internationally, where you would identify a kind of a model that fits with what your understanding of best practice ought to be or could be? So that's it.